The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond, got my days free and my nights long. I create my own reality, who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be, who I am is fine with me. It's who I am, it's who I am, who I am is fine with me.
Hi everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? We want to welcome you to our show. Tonight is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. And we're now coming into our radio station. So once again, I will let you know that we are going live. My name is Maria. This is What's the Story with Maria. We want to welcome you to our show. January 18th, 22. We want to thank our producer and engineer, Jim Bell. He's running the show from New Hampshire. I want to thank my sidekick, Leo Rodriguez. He is manning the ship, as they say, from Idlewild, California. How are you, Leo?
Very good. A little chilly up here in the mountains now. You guys have snow, though.
No snow?
No, we don't have any snow. It just got rained away.
Okay.
But it's in the mid-30s now. And you guys have a lot of snow, don't you?
Well, not so much anymore. We had a little bit on the ground. I think they, I don't know, these weathermen, I guess they want you to pay attention so they get everybody all stirred up. But in Massachusetts, like if Rena pops in, I'm sure that she is going to let us know. She is our weather girl.
Well, don't they always do that? I mean, better safe than sorry, right? So they let you know this could be the worst.
Right.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening today. I kind of always have the news in the back somewhere, like New York One. And I always have something going on. And supposedly we're getting snow on Sunday, like a big nor'easter. But I don't know. I'm not feeling any of that yet. I love snow, but I hate digging my car out of it. And then I hate trying to find parking spaces after that, because we already, oh my God, we were just talking about Rena Cugnelli Berge. Hello and happy Tuesday. Hello and happy Tuesday to you, Rena. Rena, we were talking about the weather, and both Leo and I mentioned our weather girl. What's the weather up there in Massachusetts, Rena? Type that in and let us know what's happening. I also do want to let all our listeners and viewers know that Rena is her mom, who is my aunt, who is my mother's sister, my Aunt Anna Mazziana. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
She's the cutest. You've seen her on the show a few times. She's adorable. And and so I spoke to her a couple hours ago. It's her birthday. So I'm not there now. But when I do go to Massachusetts, we're going to celebrate. Okay, so Rena says it is definitely friggin' freezing. Rena, I'm with you. Today I went out to the supermarket for a few things and the hardware store. I do love the hardware store. Do you love the hardware store, Leo?
I go pick up my bird seed and a couple of things here and there at the hardware store.
Some plumbing stuff today. I love the hardware store, and I love the guys in my neighborhood. Oh. So shout out to Nunez Hardware. Cousin Cora, anyway, but it was really cold. Cousin Cora Gauthier, who is now in Florida with her really handsome husband, Bill. It just checked in. Hi, guys. Hi, Cora. Rena says, the birthday girl just left my house. So my Ziana, it is her birthday today, Cora. I know you know that. But when I go to Massachusetts in a few weeks, we're going to celebrate. I'm looking for...
It was so funny the one time that you were making sauce, I think.
Yeah.
And I got to pop in the kitchen, and Auntie was telling me that you guys were just all talking, and she was doing all the work.
Well, that might have been. Cora was there, too. When we made sauce that time at Rena's, do you know what else my Diana did? She went, I got the cans of crushed tomatoes, and I'm putting them in, and then I'm putting them on the side, and she kept picking them up, and she was like, so she would scrape them, and put them in another. She kept scraping them, and by the end of it, she had a whole can full of stuff that I was going to discard, which I thought was just, like extra. And she said to me, you think this is extra, but you see, that's a whole other. And she was right. And I always think of her now, and I scrape that can. So,
hey, people that have lived longer than us have lived through some times a little more trying, even through that they had to scrape and scrape, and they lasted.
Yeah, and she raised 4 kids and cooked for them every day. So I never forgot that. And I do it every time I make sauce. Today I made meatballs and bolognese and chicken soup because it's so cold. Wow. I've been making chicken soup, Leo.
Ooh.
But I've been making a very special chicken soup because at Christmas time I made a couple of chicken soups for like some of my friends, and I was thinking about like the 3 kings, and then me, I'm always like thinking creatively and stuff, kind of a goofball like that. And I was like, well, like if the 3 kings were to make chicken soup for the baby Jesus, what would go in it? So I decided to make like Middle Eastern spices. You should use it is so good. So it's got a little cumin, some shawarma spices, some spices from Israel, Yemen.
So like some allspice and some nutmeg and some
It's off the hook delicious. Hey, Lucas.
Now, did you have the Catholic part of it? Did you have it with a little cracker?
I didn't have it with a little cracker, but that is really good. Lucas has just checked in, and he said that chicken soup is delicious. Lucas, I made more chicken soup today. I don't know if I'll have any for this weekend, but actually,
I'm friends with Lucas now.
Oh, excuse me.
Very happy to say.
Leo?
Oh yes, I am.
Cora, it sounds delicious, and it is delicious, and Lucas will attest to it. Rena says, did you put frankincense in it? No, wise guy, I did not. He just was laughing her little head off right now.
That reminds me of The Life of Brian. Did you ever see The Life of Brian from Monty Python?
Not.
Oh, my goodness. When I come to visit, we have to sit and watch that movie.
I would love to. I would love to do that. Yeah, so I put all these Middle Eastern spices, and then I put carrots and onions and celery and and not frankincense and myrrh, Rena. Although, I'll give it a try. Who knows? But anyway, so Lucas, if you do ever want chicken soup, you just let me know, honey, and I'll whip up a batch for you. Okay, so we got a bunch of our Karen Mack.
Hi, Karen.
Karen Mack has joined us. I gotta say, Liz Goldenberg has joined us. Love that movie. Okay,
yes.
So talking about Life of Brian. Jackie Fornatale has joined us, and she is actually going to be on our show tonight. I'm really excited because Jackie has been a great supporter of our show. She pops on all.
I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to learn something tonight.
You know what, Leo? I like your attitude. You are going to learn something tonight because the 2 people that I asked to join us tonight are 2 very musical people. Gerry Dieffenbach is joining us. He is a musical director and songwriter. And Jackie Fornatale is joining us. She's an amazing singer. And because it seems like every week someone that we love is passing away. And so what I was thinking was Ronnie Spector died this week, and I'm so sad. I didn't even post about it because everybody was posting about it. And I said, instead of posting about it, I'm going to talk about it on the show. And then I was like, who do I want to talk about this stuff with? And then I thought of them. I thought of those 2 people because Gerry's been doing, girl group stuff forever, and he does a whole thing with the Ronettes. And Jackie, when she would come in on Gerry's nights, she would do Be My Baby, and I just remember all that stuff. And she did a show a few years ago.
Jackie had a whole show based on the 60s songs, didn't she? The girl groups, I believe.
Yeah.
Motown.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I think of her, and I invited her on the show, and she was a little busy, but she moved some stuff around, and I'm so grateful. And so she's joining us now. Mario Davila, my very, very handsome. Look at Leo smirking. Leo, you're blushing. Leo,
He was a bit cheeky.
Okay.
I'm laughing because based on his posts that I've seen, I would worry. Well, he said that after your chicken soup, he swears his appendix grew back.
Oh my God!
But I'm thinking maybe based on his post, it could be a liver or kidney that might have healed.
Oh my God! Maria made me soup when Mario Davila says, because I have to. You know what? When I listen to the podcast, I realize I don't always say who said it or read it. So Mario Davila, our manager at Brandy, said Maria made me soup when I had my appendix removed. That's right. And I swear it grew back after having her soup. Mario, a miracle occurred. That's my Three Kings chicken soup. You see, the miracle has extended to your appendix. Oh, my goodness. So Mario Davila is Mr. June in our Nothing But the Apron calendar. Alana Diaz has joined us. Maria and Leo, we love
Alana Go Boom.
Alana Go Boom. And she's I'm assuming she's at Stonewall tonight. I think she's working Tuesday nights now. Okay, let's talk.
Now, the last time I saw Mario, he was wearing something like this.
Like an apron. And I'm thinking nothing but the apron.
The apron?
We do have merchandise, and it is still available if you would like some. Our piece de resistance, as we always say, which has a life of its own now. Leo, go ahead and put that on and model that. That is our blue apron, and it says, go ahead, keep eating on it. What's the story with Maria? On that, you get a much younger version of me, and there she is, pretty as a picture.
It's only because I ironed it, Maria.
Looks really nice, Leo. Very nice. I think that picture is about 10 years old. But anyway, we've been using it for a while. So now, what came of that apron? So many people bought that apron. I can't look at what Mario Davila wrote, Leo. You'll have to look. So many people bought that apron that we created, and Nothing But the Apron calendar. Leo has. You want to talk about the calendar? Look at what he said.
Mario Davila.
Mario is fresh.
Well, you know what? That's fair because I sent him a picture of tamales, which is not nice to do to a Texan in New York.
No, it is not nice to do to Texan in New York. You're absolutely right. Making those tamales and teasing people with photos of them. All right, Leo.
But he nip slipped. He said nip slip, so we'll go to August.
We'll go to August, which is Leo, our sidekick, is modeling. Oh wow, that was so. Leo was modeling. He's Mr. August. So, who's in the calendar? Mario is Mr. June. We won't show too much of that because there's a little surprise in that when you do go to June.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wiltian Hall. We have Michael Vaccaro. We have Ron Berge, Rena's husband, the mailman. He is Mr. February because mailmen. Look at Leo's fanning himself.
He delivers.
Yeah, he delivers the mail. And let me tell you something.
That too.
He was out sick for a few days last week, and I swear to God, even though he's a mailman in Massachusetts, my mail was screwed up. And all the mail I sent to Massachusetts was screwed up because when Ron Berge takes a day off, it's as if the post office has ceased to exist. So anyway, we have the calendar is 15. Alana has a calendar. The calendar is 15. It's a really good size. It's not too overwhelming. And there's so many adorable. Ed Kutu from Blake Salon is in it. Look, he is Mr. July. How cute is he? We went to high school together. I was Golda. He was Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, the person that started it all, who apparently is in San Diego this weekend,
and doing
Michael Vaccaro.
Michael Vaccaro is like always working. So we have the calendar. If you would like it, please let me know and I'll get it to you. And that is $15. The apron is $25. Oh, and Leo is drinking from our cup. Oh, and that cup says, "Go ahead, keep eating" on the other side. So this is only $10. And then if I mail it to you, there's a little bit of shipping on it because it's a little heavy. And I put it in a really good box. And then
I just had one.
Also $10, our tote bag. That's okay, Leo, I have it. Our tote bag which comes in very handy. And this is $10.
Durable.
Bags at the store. You know what I hate? I don't mind paying for plastic bags, but I hate those paper bags they give you. They rip every time. Not even.
Oh yeah, they do. How did people? I mean, well, you know what? Back in the day, they were thick. I mean, paper bags that we could wrap our school books in.
Yeah.
Now these bags are they're. No, but it's good. We got to save our trees. Somebody lives in the forest. I'm telling you, we got to save our trees. No,
listen, I got to tell you something. One of the things that we started doing in New York, which when we first started doing it, I was like, oh, come on. But I got to tell you, so let me just, as a bartender, I work at 3 different bars, so I make a lot of drinks, right? And, you know, you make a drink, you put a straw in it, you give it to the waitress, or you give it to your customers. We're not doing straws now unless someone asks. So we don't put straws in drinks, but you can request a straw. And I thought to myself, oh, everybody's going to ask for a straw. I swear to God, 95% of people do not ask for straws. And
really?
I couldn't believe it. And so when we're like, you know, clearing tables and things like that, I realized that it's so much less trash and plastic. And you know what? I have changed my mind. So I'm all for the not straws. Although what I tell you what I hate is the paper straws. Don't even give me one. They're disgusting. I can't.
I want to drink my soda all the way through, or my shake. I don't want to have to cut it off and get paper bits halfway through.
Yeah. So don't do that. But, you know, people have been buying like aluminum straws, and those are really cool. And I have one in my bag now, too. So, okay, Liz Goldenberg says, I love my calendar. I look at it during boring Zoom calls. Keeping it off camera, of course. Yes, Liz, you would have to, especially when you get to certain months, like September.
April.
April. Oh, my God. That's right. April is very popuar. You talk about fanning yourself. Have you been fanning yourself?
Yeah, I'm sitting on an ice cube.
Oh, it's sitting on an ice cube. Okay. All right. So, we now, one thing I do want to say before we bring our beautiful guests on. Yesterday,
and our both wonderful guests are in the green room.
Beautiful. They are on time. They get A's in class. I would assume that they're both people that got A's in class anyway and showed up early. So yesterday was Betty White's birthday. Happy birthday. Happy 100th birthday in heaven to Betty White. And I got to say, they did something so cool on Google that if you Googled her name, did you see it?
I did not.
Yeah, no, well, now it's not, it won't work today. If you Googled her name yesterday on her birthday, they had these rose petals that came up. And that came up across, you know, her information, and then it said, "Thank you for being a friend." How cool! Darcy Blakesley has joined us. Oh my goodness, we have
her assistant posted a picture.
What? You posted a picture of what?
No, her assistant, Betty White's assistant, posted a picture of her. And she said, a lot of people talk about, the one with the bear. A lot of people talk about doing stuff for animals, but this was the real deal. And she's like, the bear is like almost nuzzling her, and she's about giving it a kiss. Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That was I saw that. It was amazing. It was amazing. So if you want to, Bethany Vaughn has joined us. Bethany, I was thinking about you today. Betty, yes. Okay, so if you want to do something nice.
Hi, Bethany.
To remember Betty White, donate to an animal shelter, the ASPCA, Humane Society.
The American Humane Society, yep.
Yep, or any of your local places. Like I know a lot of our friends, they also foster pets. It's a wonderful thing to do. Wiltie and Hall fosters pets. Jean Simpson-Dunn fosters pets. Emily McNamara and her husband, David, they foster. Like, it's really a nice thing to do. And if you can't foster a pet, which I think most people cannot, but maybe you can help your neighbors with their pets. When, like, I know sometimes when I'm working long hours, my upstairs neighbor will come down and hang out with Rizzo. So it's just.
I think my cat fostered me. I think that's different. I think my cat fostered me rather than
me fostering my cat. I can see that. So yes, hello, Leo. My friend says Bethany. Okay, so this week, so many like greats that inspired us are sadly passing away, right? Younger and older, and this young lady that passed away this week, she was 78. But I got to tell you, she was one of the biggest influences of my career as a singer. Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes, and Bethany, you know, for our show, we did some Ronette stuff for our Christmas show. Ronnie Spector to me was like as if a circus had come to town. When I heard her voice and all that production, that Phil Spector production, that wall of sound, I automatically woke up and was so happy. I felt like literally like something magical was happening. So Sean Bernardi, our friend, he says, missed you, popped in for a minute, but internet out here. Okay, need to get an apron when I get home. Yes, Sean, and if you're going to be docked somewhere that I can mail it to you, I'll mail it to you, honey bunny. I totally thought of you all day, says Bethany. Yes, I know we did the Ronettes for our Christmas show. We did sleigh bells, yeah. Sleigh ride. Okay, so Leo, are you okay?
I'm here.
Okay. All right.
I was just shutting my window from noisy neighbors.
So the two people that I thought of yesterday, Bethany said she thought of me. I'm flattered because I do a lot. I love the Ronettes, and I did it in our Christmas show. I always sing "Be My Baby" every shift that I have ever worked. I don't think there's ever been a shift where I haven't sung "Be My Baby," and I love it. I'm happy.
I sung backup for you.
What, honey?
I sung backup for you a couple times on that.
I know you did. Okay, should we bring in our guest, Leo?
Yes, handsome as ever.
Oh my God, there he is. Gerry, you are so cute. And Jackie Fornatale.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. Hi,
Maria.
you two.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, guys. Hi, Joe. Hi, Maria. Hi, Leo.
Jackie.
Hi, Leo.
Jackie. What are you holding there, Gerry? I'm assuming it's... Go ahead.
This is
Uh-oh.
So Jerry's a little frozen.
My life. Am I freezing?
Be my baby.
I was just talking. You were just talking about this. Okay, there we
Yes.
go. There we go. This absolutely changed my life. If you could, you know how you're before 5 years old, you have certain memories of being a child. Only certain things pop in. And when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I had a phonograph that my parents gave me. And then my older cousins, Lorelei and Wesley, used to give me their old 45s when they got sick of them.
No.
Or they got scratched up or something. So this was one of the ones I got, and it made me a record junkie for the rest of my life.
We just lost a little bit of sound, Gerry. We lost a little bit of sound,
okay.
But you're kind of back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Well,
we weren't quite of the generation. I mean, we were kids when those records came out.
Yeah, no, I was 5 or 6 years old when I started.
Yeah, me too.
Collecting records. I remember having like a Zenith phonograph that was like a baby blue, and I could carry it with me anywhere. And I took it to my grandmother's, and I said, "Grandma, you've got to hear this record." And I played it for her, and I just remember my grandma saying, "Oh, that's really lovely, Jamie." I mean, really, I remember.
Was that your first?
That was really, yes.
That was your first 45?
It was one of my first 45s.
Okay.
It was one of
Remember,
the name game Shirley Ellis was another one.
Okay.
How about you, Jackie? What was your first?
Yeah.
My first one was a reject by my brother because it was cracked in half. It was the Rascals singing "Good Lovin'."
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I still have a whole like a box of 45s.
Yeah, I did.
That actually is so old that the top of the box, I went to open it a few months ago, and the top just came off.
Sweetie.
A box. I have 6 bins of 45.
I know. Well, you know what? I have a lot of stuff at my parents' house because when I moved, I had a lot of stuff in storage, and then over the years, I was like, why am I paying all this money for storage?
Yeah.
I was trying to downsize, and so I brought a lot of stuff to my sisters and my parents.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of albums, a lot of Aretha. I had Elton John, Aretha. But my dad was a huge jazz fan, so he had a lot of jazz albums. But the Ronettes and all those girl groups, there was a record store in the North End, and my Boston people will remember. That was called Tozy.
I lived in record stores. I loved them.
Me too.
I did.
It was called Tozy Music Company, and you would go there, and I took guitar lessons for a couple of weeks or something. It wasn't a lot. I was about 7 or 8, but I didn't take. I just was like, but what I loved, that you would go into the record store before you went to take lessons in the back, and I would always flip through the 45s. And my mother would give me money to, or my dad or somebody would give me money to buy a 45 every week. Yeah. So that was like such a big deal.
That was my allowance.
That was your allowance? Yeah. They used to sell them at Woolworths for like about 3 for $1.
Yeah.
You know, you get like the old ones. I bought like all of them.
I'd ride my bike to Valley Fair to get a 45 every week after I got my 50-cent allowance or something stupid like that.
And how far was that ride?
Mile.
Yeah, for a kid, that's a long way.
Yeah.
I got my exercise.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. And you would flip through, and I remember, I think it was 67 cents or something for a 45, and it just came in that little paper.
A little sleeve.
Oh, such a
And sometimes the sleeves were fancy.
See, look at
you get picture ones.
Like that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Gerry.
Yeah.
That is, hold that up. That is amazing.
Look at
this is it. All right. So, I'm getting, okay. So, yeah, I got this at a record store in Chelsea. This is live versions of Be My Baby and what I'd say like on Murray the K. So this is great. This was like one of her first solo releases. George Harrison wrote this song. Not a great song, not one of the best ones, but, you know, it's just like such a fabulous. And the flip side was called Tandoori Chicken. And Ronnie Spector writes about it in her book. She was like, what the hell are they giving me this song about Tandoori Chicken? You know?
Wow.
So,
speaking of her book, what's that, Gerry? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And then the last one, Say Goodbye to Hollywood.
Yep.
This was she did with the E Street Band.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah. That's it, really
wow,
cool.
Gerry, you really kept all that stuff. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Now, speaking of her book, did you ever read? You read her book, right, Gerry?
I was ready. This is
Gerry, A+ in class.
Thank you.
Seriously.
One of the best subtitles ever. Be My Baby. How I Survived Mascara, Miniskirts, and Madness, or My Life as a Fabulous Ronette.
Yes, and how do we know they're fabulous, Gerry?
Because it says so on the book cover.
If it's in print, it's true.
Yeah,
that's a great book. And you know what? I read that a long time ago. I got it in
1990. Yeah.
Yep.
1990 came out.
I've been doing a lot of audiobooks. I don't know if you guys do audiobooks.
Keith Richards' book I listened to on audio, and I loaned it to you, I remember, right? Yeah.
Yes, you did. And I started to read it, and it's a big book.
Oh, it's long, but fabulous.
So
and he talks about Ronnie Spector.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
A lot of musicians talk about Ronnie Spector.
Yes. Interestingly enough, the two forwards in this book are Cher and Billy Joel. Are both and I don't know, a lot of people know this, but Cher sang backup on Be My Baby. You know, it's credited to the Ronettes, but Phil Spector, of course, filled the whole studio with as many singers as he could get. And Cher talks about how she was on Be My Baby, and Phil Spector said, back up from the microphone because she was so loud. And she said by the end of the session, she was like 10 feet behind everyone else on the microphone. Oh, so it's a great story. Yeah,
that is a great story. I mean, I hope someday somebody does. There's a movie of her life.
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be a biopic. I was seeing that even online today. So
you know who's joined us right now? Andy Prasky. You remember Andy Prasky? I love when Gerry would put an album cover on the piano at the duplex like the Carpenters. See, everybody remembers that stuff. Andy's going to be on our show next week, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'll have to tune in.
So Jackie, you said that your brother gave you, but what are some of the 45s that you used to buy when you would ride your bike? What was? Oh, you see,
A+. Yeah,
Martha and the Vandellas. I wanted to be a Vandella when I grew up.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no, I loved the Martha and the Vandellas, the Marvelettes,
the Shangri-La,
Supremes, the chiffons.
The chiffons.
Great.
The chiffons.
One Fine Day, and he's a fine. Yeah.
Yep. And of course the Rascals. They were like really big when I was
Rascals.
a kid. Oh yeah, they were so great.
Felix Cavalieri was a god. He's a god.
Oh, he was amazing.
The voice that Ronnie Spector was my all-time favorite, but my second favorite was Darlene Love. Anything?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Still sings.
You know what? There's an amazing documentary. It's in a couple parts, I think, and it's called. I saw it years ago, but I'm going to try to find it again, see if it's on Netflix again. It's called Girl Groups: The Story of a Sound.
Yes, I think it's Stephanie Bennett, who is Ronnie's
sister,
niece. Produced it back in the 80s. It's a fabulous documentary. Yes,
it's so good, Jackie. You love it.
I'm going to look at it.
What I found so fascinating that. Well, of course, it talks about the wall of sound and how he would record one level, then another level, then another, and he just would double it and triple it and quadruple it.
Yeah.
And but what he would do with all these singers that he had was he would mix and match.
There it is. Yep.
Oh, this Girl Group's The Story of a Sound. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
It's part one. Okay. Yeah, there's
write that down.
My friend. Yeah. Oh, you'll love it, Jackie. You will. Love it.
Yeah, these are the guys who wrote My Boyfriend's Back. They talk about how they wrote it. That's the first part of the video. I have it on VHS from way back when it came out. Yeah,
I still have a lot of videotapes too.
Yeah,
I do too.
I mean, who knows if they even work anymore? But okay, Andy Prasky says in 1977, Specter recorded a single with the E Street Band, including. There's Gerry Has It, a cover of Billy Joel's Say Goodbye to Hollywood. This came at a critical time for the band. They were low on money, and Bruce Springsteen was enmeshed in a lawsuit with his original manager that kept the group from recording. This is so interesting, Andy. As Van Zandt recalled, the group was paid double scale for the session, which helped them get through a rough financial patch prior to the release of Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Very cool.
Wow, Andy, that's incredible.
That's great. I know that Billy Joel wrote that song with Ronnie Spector in mind.
In mind, yes.
Right?
Which one?
Yeah.
Which song?
Yeah.
Say Goodbye to Hollywood.
Goodbye to Hollywood.
He wrote that song.
He sang it like her. I mean, he imitated her on the actual song. Yeah.
He did.
You know what? I have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he sounds like her. He tries to imitate her. And Bruce Springsteen, I just looked at, there was an old South Side Johnny and the Asbury Jukes album that I had, and I said, I know he did a duet with Ronnie Spector. Sure enough, it was called You Mean So Much to Me, Baby, and Bruce Springsteen wrote it.
Wow.
So,
I don't know.
That's cool. It's really fun. It's a really fun song. Yeah.
And then, of course, when Eddie Money did that.
Take Me Home Tonight.
Take Me Home Tonight. And you know, a lot of some of the younger people, different next generation from us, probably remember that Eddie Money song. If you listen, and when he says, just like Ronnie said, he was talking about Ronnie
Be
Spector.
my little baby.
Singer.
I love it. I love Jackie's voice. Jackie, listen, can we play Leo? Do you have any clips with Jackie?
That's not me. That's definitely not me.
Okay. Oh, so this is the East Street Band.
All right, okay. Oh, that's cool.
What power she had.
Yes. And she was a little person.
And she had the voice that could stand up to that wall of sound.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Darlene Love. Darlene Love, too. Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
That's absolutely. A really, really good point. But one of the things and then Leo, I know Leo's like a magician. Maybe you can pull up a Jackie Fornatale video from YouTube.
That young girl. Yeah.
Listen, Jackie, time marches on, and we march on with it.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
Jackie?
Oh, what are we singing? What are we singing?
That's the Jackson 5 dance. Don't you recognize it? That's my brother behind me.
That Mike is an amazing singer, by the way. Amazing musician. Show you. There's Mike. Wow. That show was the most fun I ever had.
Oh my God, that was so cool. So
it was like I was like in a candy store because it's all Motown music. It's like, thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
Oh, it's so fun.
We had been working on something for like a year, and my director, Lenny Watts, the wonderful Lenny Watts, came to hear us at Gerry's place, and he's like, what was that? And I'm like, yeah, it sucks, right? So we scrapped it, and I found out I was turning 50 the same year as Motown was turning 50.
Wow.
So I said to Gerry, what do you think? Should we do this? I mean, little white chick from Jersey singing Motown songs. What do you think? And he's like, yes!
Oh, well, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, we had so many songs. I mean, the show could have been 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I bet you just had to keep clipping because you had probably more songs than you could.
Yeah. One medley was 9.5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that was the big Motown medley.
Oh my God, it went on for days.
Yeah, we did.
So Gerry, you musically directed it.
Oh yeah.
And Jackie, your brother.
My brother, and you should hear my brother imitate Ronnie Spector.
Oh really?
Oh damn, he can imitate anybody.
He's such a mimic. It's amazing. I was in college, and he sent me a mixtape of himself, and he would do his own little wall of sound. He had a 4-track recorder. And he would do 3 tracks and dump them, and then 3 more tracks and dump them. And he sent me, I think it was Be My Baby. And I was like, someone says, oh, is that the Ronettes? I'm like, no, that's my brother. Oh, really? Sounds just like her. Just like her. It's frightening.
He did Shirley Bassey's Goldfinger, and sounded just like Shirley Bassey.
No,
and he belts it. He doesn't no falsetto. At the end, he just belts it.
Wow,
he's amazing.
So does he still perform, or does he still record himself?
He's been at the Cutting Room a lot lately.
Is he still with the Losers Lounge? That's where I saw.
Losers Lounge. There's a band he plays with called the Murderers Row.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, he did like a 4-hour show.
There's the show. Get ready. I love it.
I was so cute.
You're cute. Jackie, you're beautiful.
Thank you. God, I look so young. But yeah, he just did like a 4-hour birthday show. All these musicians get up and perform. They switch drummers. They switch guitarists and bass players, and it goes on for days, and it's amazing. So obviously you grew up in a musical family, is what I'm gathering. I did. My dad was the king of backphrasing. He would always backphrase constantly to any Sinatra song or anything that was on the radio. Yeah. And my mother was the bass in an Andrews Sisters group when she was in high school. Really? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. So, and you grew up in Jersey? Did. Yep. Okay, yeah. No, so many, because New Jersey, Long Island, when you're so close to New York and you're so, everything is so accessible, I think it makes a big difference. I mean, I grew up in Boston, but my dad was really like a huge music buff. So there was always music playing in my house. And he loved jazz, but also like so much stuff. And so any musical influence and my Uncle Nicky was 14 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So I used to follow him around like a puppy. I thought he was the coolest guy. I still think he's the coolest guy in town. And he just knew all these amazing bands, and they used to do a lot of doo-wop, he and his friends, and I just loved it, So I really, I was thinking about this the other day, like, just like we had people that influenced us, whether it was our parents, our cousins, our older brothers, I feel like
this need to educate the next generation. You know, even though they don't ask for it. They don't ask for it like we did. Like we were like wanted, but I do feel this need. Like when I've been doing certain songs now, I give people the backstory or I tell them.
I love to do that. Yeah, I do that.
You really are the king of that, Gerry.
Oh yeah.
I try and educate, as you say.
You don't hate. My motto this year is, and last year, don't hate. Educate.
Yep. Yeah.
Good. So when somebody really drives me crazy or has a very different point of view than me, and people do, but I say to myself, you know what? Instead of saying what goes through my mind first, which is you're an idiot, like that's what I want to say. Like you're a total. That's what
I do this a lot.
Yes, you see, you're a girl, Jackie. But so what I've been doing now is saying that person is obviously not educated on that subject. Yeah. And maybe they're really good at something that you need to learn, like whatever that is. Like one time I said this, I've talked about this cable guy so many times. I was at my girlfriend's and the cable guy came over and he seemed like a nice guy. The cable was completely, we really needed this guy. We really needed him. And his skill set was amazing and he was great, but he had very different political views than we did. And rather than say, like, what a jerk, like, we just talked to each other. And I was like, okay, explain to me what you... And you know what? By the end of the conversation, he was a big gun guy, By the end of the conversation, we had so much more in common than not in common. And by the end of it, he was like, oh, no, I don't feel that, or that, which I assumed he did.
Yeah.
My assumptions were that because he was... And you know what? It was great because we exchanged ideas. And that's when I started saying to myself, stop, don't hate, just educate and be open to being educated.
Right. Or inquire,
Because I have this dream. I have this crazy dream that if we could all sit around a table and
debate,
and eat, if we were all cooking in like a potluck, that we would get along so much better if we didn't listen to the news, if we just could all talk to each other. Yeah. We have so much in common.
Yeah. Right. But gather the information first before you have a conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Leo. What were you going to say?
Hi, Leo.
Just, explaining that to kids all the time. I've adapted for a long time to saying the world is full of many different people.
Right. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Leo works with kids. And, but you have to do things like that. But also, I do feel like... lately, I've been feeling it a lot. I've been feeling like we didn't just watch all this cable news and started watching local news again, which we did when we were growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, we just watched local news, Mm-hmm. Okay, so Andy Prosky says, I also don't hate debate. Yeah, I like... A good debate is always good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and music. So food and music is what we all love. We all love that, right? So when we perform, I feel like as singers, as musicians, as whatever it is that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden we're all on the same page. People are happy. They're moving. Even little babies. You see little babies dancing. Even animals like Gerry. I don't know, Jackie. I don't know if you have a pet, but
I have a cat.
Okay, so when there's music, you find that the Leo, you have cats. My dog loves music. Yeah. And when it's on, or if I play the guitar, if I'm singing, she just completely zens. It's weird. And when I rehearse, if I'm rehearsing something with Lynn or something here, she will literally, if we have sheet music, we always laugh about it. She will put her head on the sheet music.
Aw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Animals are so intuitive.
Gerry, how does Izzy behave with music? Does she like it? Does she
sleeps through it? She sleeps through it. No.
My cat usually goes.
So one time she's quiet when there's music going on.
Yeah,
so music does soothe the savage Yorkie. Yes.
Yeah. My cat likes certain music. If I start belting a tune, she's like.
She runs.
I went through a 90s phase the other night, and the cat looked at me like, "Why?"
I was going to ask the same
on what
question.
90s music you were listening to.
That's how cats are. Cats are very funny.
They're very interesting creatures.
Yes, they really are. Okay, so we're going to take a break and do the food section of our show. Speaking of food, which every week, Jackie knows, she's seen the show, I cook up something. Now, today I was running around, but I was making meatballs today. I was making chicken. I was making bolognese. I have a lot of orders for tomorrow. So I thought, you know what? I want a couple of those meatballs. I always have to try them, of course, to make sure that they're okay and they're not poisoned. But today I just went with a classic because it was cold. I went with a classic meatball sandwich. I went and got a nice piece of bread. I sliced up a couple of meatballs.
Yeah, let's all do our Homer Simpson.
I know. Little Parmesan cheese. What do I put in my meatballs? I put ground beef, just beef. Some people put pork and beef. And
somebody mix it up.
I just use
and they're good. You use beef too, Jackie?
Just beef.
Yeah, me too. Because a lot of people don't eat pork, and I just like it. It's just easier. And I like it a lot. I used to make a lot of turkey meatballs back in the day. So those are good, too. If you have high blood pressure, like my mother used to fool my dad, and she switched and started making turkey meatballs because he had high blood pressure. And he said, these are the best. She didn't tell him, though. These are the best I've ever made. She was like,
my mother did the same thing to my father.
Did she really?
Yes.
Those sneaky Italian ladies.
I tell you.
I have a question for you meatball makers.
Yeah.
Do you ever go with beef and veal? Is there like a difference in I've never tried it. I'm sure people are gasping at me right now, but
no. There are people that will take veal, beef, and pork.
Yeah. There's the three of them together.
Yeah, and Middle Eastern, that's all lamb meatballs, and so that's but. I know Italians that have done that. That's why I always say mine is just beef. And then I put Parmesan cheese, garlic, basil, parsley, and breadcrumbs, and eggs. Of course, you have to put that in. Right. And then I throw them in the sauce. So I'm having that tonight. And then I'm having a delicious, I love my salads. That's the only reason I'm not 4,000 pounds, because I eat a lot of salads. So I have romaine lettuce here. These are called mozzarella pearls. They're little tiny.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they come like in a little ball. And black olives, sliced black olives, red onions. These are called Campari tomatoes. So what they are, baby vine ripe. I love vine ripe tomatoes, but sometimes the bigger ones, whatever, you won't. But these are the little baby ones. And I'm going to put Aceto di Modena, which is this delicious balsamic vinegar from Italy. And I'm going to put a Tuscan Herb Oil, which there's a company that I love in Boston. Well, they're in the North Shore. They're called the Olive Oil Company. And they make the New England Olive Oil Company.
Okay.
So you can find them online.
Okay.
And or just go to when you're out in Massachusetts. But they make the most interesting and divine oils and vinegars.
I think you showed them to me one time in your apartment.
I love them.
Right? You keep them, yeah.
For Christmas, my sister gave me like 6 of them. So, and just went with plain comfort food. I'm having sugar. I'm powdered tonight.
Donuts.
I know. But now you can do your Homer Simpson. There you go.
I'm having ice cream when we're done.
Yes, baby.
Hey, Maria.
What did you make?
It's tempting you, Maria. What is your favorite dish?
My favorite dish is pot roast. If you want to get on my good side, make a pot roast.
My mother made a great pot roast.
Did she, Jackie? Did she use the slow cooker, or did she do it under the?
No, she did it in a Dutch oven.
Oh yeah, I've done that too.
I went vegetarian for like 4 years, and I said, I'm not eating enough protein. I think I'm going to go off of this thing. And my mother goes, well, what have you been craving? And I said, pot roast.
Pot roast.
Wow.
I loved her pot roast with noodles and gravy and
oh my god,
egg noodles.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
so good.
I vegified mine. I wanted more veggies, so I put Brussels sprouts and potatoes and carrots and celery and onion and
yum.
See, I
let it cook for 8 hours.
I know a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts. I have a friend who calls them little balls of hate. And
my father hates Brussels sprouts because my mother loves them.
Okay.
My mother tricked me. Because as a kid, I used to, I'd look at the most expensive thing on the menu. King crab legs, lobster tail, duck. I'd order all these things. but I wouldn't eat my vegetables. And so she had this thing of Brussels sprouts, and she's like, "Oh, you can't have these." Why not? They're very expensive.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, they must be good. So I ate them, and she made vegetables like mush, my mother. But I kept eating them, and I like them roasted.
Yeah.
And I was serving them one holiday, and she says, I don't eat those. I was like, you tricked me?
Wow. That was a good trick, though. That was a great trick.
No, it's too expensive. You can't have these.
I love Brussels sprouts. I didn't eat them. My mother didn't make them. They weren't very much like an Italian thing. But as an adult and working in restaurants, I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then I got to really love them. I love vegetables. I really do.
Yeah, no, I'm a big vegetable fan. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jackie, you're not a vegetarian.
I not anymore now, but I eat a lot of vegetables. I came from a weird house because my mother was a WASP. My father was Italian, but his family never ate fish.
Wow.
Never ate vegetables.
What did they do on Christmas Eve?
Never ate garlic.
What?
Never ate garlic. I know. I used to look at them and go, what's wrong with you people?
Isn't that
my grandfather didn't like fish, didn't like garlic.
Wow.
When I discovered what was it, garlic in the clay pot or whatever you would put it, and you just bake the garlic and then just spread it on the my
God.
goodness.
So good.
Yeah.
I love a good garlic bread. Yeah.
Somebody kissed me after that.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Like I love. Like my mother and I used to just get a loaf of bread. This is the two of us. Some cheese. And then what we would do sometimes is just put like a little oil in a plate with some like roasted garlic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the most delicious meal in the. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
all you need.
Right.
And maybe a meatball. Maybe one meatball.
Maybe a meatball. Well, I'll
Maybe
have
one meatball. One meatball.
Andy Prasky says, Maria, do you ever add raisins to your meatball? I just discovered that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I never have. I would. I mean, my meatballs. I have my own recipe, but I would be open to like trying. Like I love Swedish meatballs.
Once.
Swedish meatballs are my favorite.
Gerry, don't you talk about on the mic something about IKEA? What's your joke about IKEA?
The joke is actually. I mean, I borrowed a little bit from my friend Fred Malcheski, but we always say after we do an ABBA song, it's like thank Christ for Swedish people. What would us gay boys do without ABBA and that cheap screw-together furniture they sell in Jersey and Red Hook? And then you say, and it's always nice when a furniture store serves you and your newlywed husband a nice Swedish meatball while you're furniture shopping. So.
Well, I kind of agree. I enjoy that.
Exactly.
I enjoy the so.
And make sure you have that screwdriver, otherwise you're screwed. Right.
Yeah. I do love IKEA and Swedish meatballs. And to answer your question, there's lots of different kinds of meatballs, and I like them all. And some of them, I'm sure there are raisins in it, so I'm not opposed to raisins.
I've heard of that, but
it sounds Mediterranean-ish, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, Moroccan. I think it's Moroccan.
Before I forget, Gerry and Maria, I was talking to somebody, and he wants to say to you guys, sends his love, my friend Miles, who was talking to me earlier today. So, as you know both, I just want you to know.
Well, Miles is working at the Stonewall Inn tonight. Is it tonight? No.
I think it's tomorrow or something.
He fills in quite a bit.
He's been with me on Thursdays. That's how I met him.
Yes, he loves it. He loves working with you.
Oh, good.
So
I love him.
He's a really good guy.
Yep. Very talented.
Okay, so let me see how much time we have. It flies by. The show flies by. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have about 6 minutes left. Maybe not even.
Okay. I'm just going to keep Ronnie and...
well, we didn't get to...
What? We didn't get to what?
We didn't get to look at your pictures.
Which pictures? Oh, the ones I sent.
Well,
yeah.
Not the other ones, but these ones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh my goodness.
There's the ultimate girl group.
Okay, talk about this
plus one.
All right, so talk about this experience.
Well, that picture was taken in Korea, in South Korea in 1989. I was touring, playing for Martha and the Vandellas, and we were on tour with the Commodores. That was
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, these are all. Yeah. That's the pose we were emulating. That classic.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And we were in a barracks in a South Korean army camp, and I said, "Can we do this?" And they said, "Sure." They did that with me.
Gerry, do you remember the night we were working together
Right.
You and I, me, Katie Cass,
and Sean. That's got Sam Paul.
And Martha Reeves came in to see Gerry. Just wandered in and sat next to where Gerry plays. And all night, she said to me, because I always use tambourine, do you mind if I play that? I was like, do I mind?
I'll have it bronzed when you're done.
Can you imagine? Really? So I just gave her, I was like, of course. And Gerry, how long did she stay and play that tambourine?
She stayed about an hour and a half. She stayed for 2 sets.
Yeah.
I mean, and the funny thing was, we got, she was with her manager, Dundee, who's fabulous. Yeah. And when I did my Motown medley, I started My Girl. So Dundee has a fabulous voice. He sang My Girl, which is when I segue into My Guy. Who sang My Guy? Martha Reeves. Martha Reeves sang My Guy. And then when we got to Dancing in the Street, she pointed to me and said, all right, now you sing that. I was like,
oh my God.
So I sang Dancing in the Street and she backed me up. But yeah, she was playing tambourine for everyone. She did that at Brandy's too. She was,
wow.
She came to a couple of clubs that I was playing at. Yep.
She's so cool.
Amazing.
She's so
amazing.
Cool. And
Gerry sent me a text and said, Martha Reeves is here. I was like, I can't get there in time.
I know. It's like right after we saw her at BB King's. I know.
I did get to meet her, though. We went to go see her at BB King's.
Yep.
Yeah. I did get to meet her.
Really cool.
And she autographed my picture.
Yeah, did she really, Jackie?
Yes. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Good. And she goes, don't we look cute?
Yeah, she had quite a sense of humor.
She's funny.
She's very funny. There was my favorite story of that night was Sam, who was our trim little gay, fabulous singer who just shimmied up there and did these numbers. He would always wear those gold lame shorts, remember?
Yes.
And they were short. So where you're standing to perform, like she's sitting right there. So I remember her, like when he got up, she kind of looked to the side and like at the shorts. It was like, and then like a minute later, her hand kind of went up and she was like, gold lame shorts.
She was so cool.
She's really cool. She's a great lady.
It's amazing, it's amazing. Okay, so we're really coming to the end now.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes left. I want to thank Gerry Dieffenbach. Gerry, what nights do you work and what clubs? So if people can find.
Okay, Stonewall Inn Thursday nights. Don't Tell Mama Friday nights. Duplex Saturday nights.
Wonderful. Okay, so your weekends are there. Jackie, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Every time you pop on, it makes me so happy. And I'm so glad we showed a clip of Jackie's show. If you want to see more of Jackie on YouTube, a lot of that stuff is on YouTube.
It disappeared from YouTube, but we're working on getting it back on.
Okay, but there's still some stuff. So spell your last name, Jackie, for our radio listeners.
Fornatale.
Okay, so
I should say for radio listeners, she's from Pedigree. Pete Fornatale was her cousin.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Who interviewed Ronnie Spector many times.
Who interviewed Ronnie Spector. And Pete's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
Wow. Yeah. So you see, and Ronnie Spector got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007, I believe.
Yes.
I think she was inducted.
Watch that induction ceremony. You cry. You'll just cry your eyes out.
I'm going to watch it right after this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you both for sharing your time and
Thanks
your
for having us.
Thank you.
And it was such a great show, and we appreciate you. How about our wonderful assistant, Leo?
Leo's the man.
Be my baby, Leo.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. And Ronnie Spector, thank you for your music and your joy and sharing it with all of us. And everybody, listen, if you're out there and you don't know who Ronnie Spector is, go and look her up, and you'll say, "Oh, I know that voice." You'll know the voice.
Mm-hmm. There's one of a kind.
Very quick story because we got to fly. I saw her at the Bottom Line.
Bottom Line. Yep.
I was with Michael Isaacs many years ago, and then afterwards we waited for her, and she came out. She's tiny, as you know, And I said to her, I was like, oh my God. I said, you probably are my favorite singer. I said, what Frankie Lyman was to you, you were to me. And she said, can I hug you? She said, can I hug you? I was like, I would love to hug you. And she hugged me. And
she loved you. I mean, she loved people when they came to her and they showed her appreciation. She gave it right back, like tenfold.
Yeah,
that's what I remember when I met her. Yeah,
never forgot it. I thought this icon, but she really was like, and she was so sweet. Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Good night, everybody. We love and appreciate you.
Good night.
Every Tuesday night. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Leo.
You're welcome.